Hello everyone, and welcome to the review of the Edo D30C. And this e-bike from Edo is totally different from their previous models, and you are going to see why. First of all, this is no longer a folding e-bike, and it doesn't have 16 or 20 inch wheels. It actually has 27.5 inch wheels, and it has a frame that it's not only not folding, but this is made from one single piece of aluminum alloy, and this makes it not only very sturdy, but it also is beautiful. And because there are a lot of changes and almost all the components from this bike are new, I'm going to jump in directly to the technical part. So you get a street legal 250 watt motor. It's a planetary gear motor which has a lot of strength going uphill. It has a lot of torque but uses less power. Also, it has a new drivetrain with 9 gears in the back, one single gear in the front, so now you have a lot of range to choose from. It also has full hydraulic brakes this time, and that's a massive improvement over the regular cable brakes. We have a new S830 display, which is much more larger and very easy to read when it's of course turned on, even in full sunshine. And you have this very comfortable here switching modes, so you can switch it very easy from here. The rear derailleur, it's a Shimano Altus, and this is indexed of course, and it has a new fast gear shifter here with 2 pedals, so you can easily decrease gears, and that's very easy to operate, and it's very precise, very rapid. And we also get a new front suspension here that's not only lockable, which is always requested on their previous models, but it also has strength adjustment here, so you can preload it, so you can adjust it for your weight, and that makes it much more better than regular suspension shock absorbers. And because this bike is intended for European market, it also has a full safety pack included. So it has rear wheel reflector, it has front wheel reflector, it has front LED lamp which is very bright, and it also has a white reflector underneath, so even if you forget to turn this on, you still have this, or maybe you run out of battery or something gets wrong, you have reflector. And you also have a red light here in the back. This is battery operated, but pretty good. It has a lot of LEDs, and it also has a reflector, so this bike is fully legal from this safety point of view. And it also includes a mandatory bell. This is mandatory in some countries, so you need to have that installed to avoid a ticket. Of course, because this is fully European legal, there's no throttle here, no longer has a throttle, so this is only an assisted bike. But now we are getting to the most interesting part, because some of us want to ride the bike with an electric throttle, and we don't care about the law, or we ride the bike in a forest or on a private road, then there's going to be something hidden here. So in the frame there you have a good old known Edo hybrid controller, the smart controller that has 2 working modes. The assisted legal mode, which limits the power to 250 watts to 25 kilometers per hour, and you can enable that to have the accelerator and no speed limit, but there's no accelerator. But Edo did something smart, and they hid here a small plug which you can easily take out, and in that plug you are going to be able to put an accelerator that we are going to test in another video. So the idea is that the bike is upgradable, and you can actually fit an accelerator if you want to. Otherwise, this is just as it is. It's an assisted bike and runs really nice within loads. The design of the bike is not only pretty with the frame that has no welds. As you can see here, there are no welds, it's just one single piece. There are only here a weld here and one here, and on the same side on the other part. The rest of the frame is one single piece. Besides having this really nice design, they also tidy up very nice. So all the cables here have wraps, and they are really nicely wrapped, and there are not a lot of wires here, and all of them get through this nice rubber protecting garment here, and they pass to the frame, and there are no more cables dangling around, and they are all hidden into the frame, so only the necessary ones go where they need to. So you have this motor cable here and the shifter cable here. On the other side you have the brake line hose, and that's it. So no more wires on the frame. The frame is nice and clean. Also, a really nice improvement is that the motor now has a motor plug here. So when you want to change the tire or do service to the bike, you no longer need to keep the wheel hanging from the wire, or just take apart large amounts of your bike and get the cable out of the controller. The tires are also very nice. They are CST all-terrains, and they are made from a very grippy rubber, and this is a mixed terrain type of tire. Doesn't have very big gripping size here, but it's not neither flat, so this goes well both on asphalt and on off-road, and also on wet roads. The pedals also have been changed. There are no longer folding pedals, and they are no longer made from plastic. They are full aluminum pedals, so you just screw them onto the lever here, and that's it. If you want to start the bike, you can actually take them off with the screw here. You get the key for it, but they are very solid. The seat is also interesting. It has very good padding in the thin part here, so it's pretty comfortable. On the rear it's not very big, so it's kind of a sport seat, but it's pretty good, and I like this part here, that it still has a lot of cushioning. It's not very hard, and you also get here a way to air to go out, and it has some fins there, so it directs the air and goes out, and has this descent here. You also get the known phone support that you get on the other bikes, the one that quick fixes your phone. It's an automated one. You just press the phone and it snaps into place, and you can quickly take the phone out by pressing this. As you've seen in my initial unboxing, the front wheel has a quick release skewer system, so you just take this off and take the wheel out, and you can store the bike more easy that way, or transport it on your car or on your rack. It takes less space, and things still get better from here. So you have the battery into the frame now, and beside looking great with no wires, no boxes, no nothing, it looks like a single piece of the frame. You also get a key, and this is removable. You can charge it on the bike, you can take it with you. You have a button here to quickly check the battery level, so the LED here that's blue now changes color with the battery level. And with the key, just look at this. I'm using just one hand because I'm not an octopus with 8 hands. So I just press the key, turn it, and I can take the battery out as quickly as that. And now it gets even more interesting. The battery, it's super nice. This is one single chunk of aluminum, very solid. So the battery is really well protected. This no longer rattles into the frame. There's no noise from the battery. The battery, it's a 10.4 amp hour, 374 watt hour battery. It's a 36 volt battery, so nothing fancy, not 48 volts or 52, but this is also really nice made, and it has a great connector here. No longer voltage drops or problems. And look inside here, you get this nice locking system, and beside that they really went high quality this time. So the battery connector even has an O-ring here, so when the battery goes in, the battery will be also waterproof onto the power connector here. So really thought of a lot of things, and it keeps it very well here. It has these 2 pins there, metal pins that have springs and keep the battery tension. They are not only for taking the battery out more easy, but they also hold it in place and protect it from vibration and stop it from rattling inside the frame. And the battery installment is as simple as taking it off. You just hook it in the front there, put it like that, and just press it, and that's it. And you can take the key out. Actually, you can install it without the key. The bike doesn't come with mud guards or a rack, but it has notches here and nuts here built into the frame, so you can easily install a rack and also a mud guard. You have here a bracket for that, you have here bracket for that, so it's very easy to install those. And because this is kind of standard 27.5, you can easily find a lot of mud guards, and probably Eido will offer them also. You also get another novelty, an adjustable length kickstand here, that you can actually even take this plastic foot off. The bike is pretty tall and you can adjust this. If it's going to have a kickstand that's has enough length for it to be stable when you park the bike, it's going to be very long and possibly not only looking too great, but could discomfort you while riding. So when you ride, you can actually make this shorter if you want to, or take this part out. I don't know, you can choose what to do with it. Another great thing about this new Eido D30C, it's the weight, because this is made from one single aluminum part, and aluminum is lighter than steel. This only has around 22 kilograms. I actually think it has a bit less than that, so declared weight is 22 kilograms. That's pretty light for a full electric e-bike, and that makes it easy to carry it around also. You can just take this with one hand, no problem, and you can also transport it very easy like this. So you can take it with you on stairs, hands-free. There's no problem carrying this around, because this is truly very light and easy to carry. And now it's time to ride it and see how it works and how good it feels. So I'm weighing about 85 kilograms. I have a backpack that has about 3 kilograms, maybe 4. So the bike is now on 0, so there's no assistance. I'm on the first gear, and it's something I could say strange, because even on this rough terrain, it's not very bad, but it's rough terrain. The bike simply works like a normal, regular bike. It has no absolute resistance, no absolute noise, nothing. It's just like I'm riding a regular bike. So I can even get some decent speed with this off-road, and I'm not using electric power. This is simply amazing. Look at this. This just goes on and on and on, and I'm not using power. What kind of electric bike is this one? It feels like it's weightless, effectively not putting any kind of resistance. And look at this kind of ground. This is very thick combination here of mud, grass. The bike works like a regular bike. So let's select now the first assisted mode. So it's gear 1, or call it whatever, it's not gear. And there's just a tiny amount of delay, and this just put power on. And now of course it's a lot more better and easier, because the bike is doing the job for me, and I can practice the same terrain at faster speed. And of course I have better acceleration, but around 15 kilometers per hour. Motor assistance stops. If I want to go faster, I need to change the electric gear here. So now let's try the second gear, but I guess what's going to happen. This is not torque assisted, so this is just speed limited assisted mode. So if I pedal, it's going to try to get target speed, and target speed for second gear is probably around 18-20 kilometers per hour. And yes, it's 20 kilometers per hour. I'm making no effort, so I need to change the gears, and I'm tackling this terrain with no problem. The front shock absorber works brilliantly. The preload adjustment is just perfect, because now it just absorbs the shocks, but it doesn't bottom out. It doesn't have too much travel, so it's not annoying, it's not soft, it's just perfect as it is right now. But on good terrain I can always lock it into position, but I don't need to do that, and this shock absorber really does its job. And the brakes are amazing, are simply amazing. The oil hydraulic brakes are simply amazing. They have not only very good modulation power, so you can actually be very gentle with the braking, so you can use just the right amount, but they also have huge stopping power, and you can only use just one finger to fully stop the bike, so that's pretty amazing. And they make no funny noises, no scratches, no annoying vibration. And because they are fully hydraulic, they use both brake pads evenly, so they brake very well, and the wear on the brake system, it's lesser than on normal cable ones where only one brake pad works. So now let's see, the third gear is going to be very fun. So it has a bit of delay, and now it kicks in, and I'm out of gear. I need to change the gears again, and 25, 26, yes, target speed is 25 kilometers per hour, the third mode, and I'm doing 25 kilometers here, no problems on rough terrain. The comfort is great, but it feels that the saddle is not intended for this type of ride. You should actually use your legs to stand up a bit. So if you sit with all your weight on the saddle, it's a bit rough, but nonetheless it's a really nice ride. Also, the shifter works amazingly well. It changes gears very fast, almost in an instant, and you can play with the gears really well and very fast. You can also change upward gears faster just by pressing the lever more, so it changes several gears at once while you decrease one by one. If you want to go on first gear very fast, you just press it a few times and it will change a few gears, then change a few gears more, and I'm with just two presses of this pad here, of this lever, I've changed 2 times or 3 gears, so 6 gears in just 2 presses, so very quick to shift. And the derailleur is very happy to do that for me. So I was clickbaiting you with unlimited range. Well, I'm going to explain you why. For instance, now I have 13 kilometers done with this bike. You've seen how I ride with it for this test. So I went off-road on bad roads, did acceleration, braking, acceleration, far less from ideal conditions to get good battery life. But because this bike goes so easy, so puts no effort, so it runs like a normal bike, you are tempted to use it mostly on first assisted gear, and sometimes because the bike goes so easy, you can actually disable and go to 0 mode and just pedal like a normal bike and do some proper exercise. You won't feel the extra weight of the battery and the motor. It's no longer putting any kind of load or drag on your biking. So you don't use the battery. The battery is only used for running the computer here and detecting the brake levers, and that's it. So you actually, with 13 kilometers now, I'm still at 100% battery. So it's impressive. The bike is advertised to have around 40 kilometers to 80 kilometers range, something like that, depending on the assisted level, your weight, temperature, and so on. But for me, this is kind of use it everywhere. You don't kind of need a lot of assistance, only when you go very rough roads or uphill, and then go back to normal bike mode. You use no power, you make some exercise, you are healthy, and the battery lasts and lasts and lasts and never goes out because you don't use it that much. So you can get a huge range out of this if you ride it normally. Of course, if you are going to install the throttle and you are going to unlock it and get to full power with it, then the battery range will probably be 30-40 kilometers, and that's it. But on this mode, it's just great, and it has a huge range. And now it's time to see how this rides in normal conditions. So that off-road test and details about the bike are now over, and now we are going to ride some forest roads here. Not a good nor a bad road. It has some bumps because it has some dried up wood. There is some dirt around, no problems there. But I just want to see how this actually works in real life. So with some ditches and leaves, and it still gets really nice when you stop pedaling. Even on rough terrain, it has no rolling resistance, and that is superb. And now let's see, with the assistive mode one, it's actually rather fast for this kind of terrain, but it goes really well. The bike doesn't have a torque sensor, it only has a rotation sensor. So when it senses that you are pedaling, it's going to apply electric power, and that's it. And you know the target speeds, and this is fun. Nice, this handles really well. Front suspension is absolutely brilliant. And it doesn't bottom out, nor it throws you back. So it has real suspension. So it goes really well on this type of terrain. And I can increase speed now. It's doing very good. The tires provide very good traction and maneuverability. And with the assisted power, you can push through rough areas. Now I can get even third gear, and I'm flying through the forest, and this is great as I feel no effort. The bike does have a delay until it picks up the speed, but remember, this is an ADO e-bike, so it has the programmable hybrid controller, so you can adjust a lot of settings such as the delay for the motor, its acceleration strength. So you can fine-tune all the parameters, and I'm going to do a video about that also, how to properly adjust this one to get the best out of it. Right now it's set up for let's say default usage, so it's kind of a balance between economical and decent performance, but you can get better acceleration, much shorter delay. That of course will increase power usage, but will make the bike a lot more dynamic than it is right now. And now, like a tradition, I always end up a video with the final conclusions about an e-bike, and I have a list of pros and cons. Well, with this bike it was very hard actually to get some cons out of it, because it just simply performs excellent. It's very silent, there is no drivetrain noise, there is no suspension rattle, there is no battery rattle. The seat is rather comfortable. You get lights with LEDs, you get reflectors, you get a kickstand, you get everything. You don't have mudguards. We can put that maybe on a con or neutral, because you can buy those if you wish to. And there was a single con during all my ride, that's the kickstand. And I've shown you that it's adjustable. Even though it's adjustable, it's not long enough to keep the bike in a steady position, extended at maximum. And the tip, which is made from plastic, it's a bit fragile, but it keeps the bike right now in position, so you need to be careful with that. Otherwise, I can't really fault this. I also enjoy the shifter, which works really nice, very fast. You can jump several speeds when you want to get to first gear. You can decrease them very fast. You feel like driving a Formula 1 car with pedal shifters. The brakes are excellent, hydraulic brakes. I can't complain about that. Although, to be sincere, I haven't heard of this brand until now. I'm going to look it up. Maybe they are known, maybe they are no name. I don't care, I don't know. They work perfectly. So if they last for a longer time, and of course I'm going to come up with another review after some time, and I'm going to tell you if something broke, of course. If they will not leak, then they are perfect brakes for this bike, as you can stop on a dime, and they work really nice, and you don't have the annoying disc brake noise, vibrations, squealing, nothing. Both pads work brilliantly, so you have pistons from both parts on the calipers, so you have very good braking performance on this e-bike. And because the title of this video was kind of clickbait, well, it's not clickbait. Look at this, I have 29 kilometers done, and the battery is still at 100%. Which is something that I have never seen until now. And the voltage is at 39 volts right now. It was at 38 earlier, but sitting here and it's getting more and more outside, the battery has recovered a bit. Of course, if I put it on the low, then I start to pedal and put it on third gear, there's going to be a voltage drop, and this will drop to 90% or something like that. But nonetheless, it's impressive to do actually almost 30 kilometers and still have 90%, let's call it 90% battery power left. The battery level can also be confirmed with the smart check here. So it's blue, and blue it's full. It should be green when it's half, and red when it's empty. So that was it for now. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and be sure to follow my next uploads, where I'm going to do a lot more videos about the AIDO D30C. And until then, see you and bye bye.